Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Simply Investing. And just want to kind of talk about a few things that are going on right now as far as out there in the markets and everything, or just even just in social media and everything. First what I want to talk about is it's okay to miss or make a mistake, I guess if you want to call it that. It's okay. I made a mistake on Best Buy. I had Best Buy for 3 years. For 3 years. I made steady dividends off of it. Wasn't sure why I had the stock anymore. I was like, you know what, with everything that's going on and, talk about that tariff, the border tariff, taxing imports and stuff. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know if this is going to be good to hold on to electronics retailer in this market. So I sold it. And not to say I didn't sell for a loss. I made I got 12 dividends off of my shares, worth of my shares. So 12 quarters of dividends plus, I don't think I made any money on the stock. I think I actually sold it for maybe less than what I purchased it for. I think I purchased it for maybe like high 43s, and I sold it for, I think it was 43, or no, it was 42.49 was the final sale, was what I sold it for. Now, I think when I last checked it, it was like up in the high 50s, and with the amount of shares I could have had, that could have been a significant payday. But I did make money off of it, and that's where that's where you have to just let your risk dictate how you're gonna invest. And yes, you will miss some opportunities, but and that probably was like a big opportunity that I probably could have sat on and gotten an extra 5 or 6% gain if I held it. But you can't predict that was going to happen. And probably because more people are realizing that tariff is not going to happen, and that maybe Best Buy is doing better. I didn't really follow the stock. Once I drop a stock, I generally don't go back to it unless if I'm preparing to like reinvest in it, and I usually don't reinvest in stocks I dropped out of like right away. So I don't know what to say about that one other than that was a mistake on my part. Another mistake on my part, and it's just just my way of investing, was I probably should have gotten into Facebook way earlier, but I still was on the fence about it because I still couldn't see the value there. But I do have to say, after doing more research now, and I've been doing just solid research on it, I think it has a much better potential now. Now, I'm not with the crowd that says Facebook's going to reach $1,000 a share, but I'm with saying, if you buy it at 100 in the 150 range, you probably are going to sell it in the 230 range. I think that's going to be where it's going to be in the next 3 to 4 years. But then again, it could run like Amazon, where if you bought Amazon in 2000, and now you would have made a significant amount of money. Would easily made a 6-7 figure, maybe even 8-figure status just off of that if you were just a casual investor. But that's just the effects of hindsight. But the point I'm trying to make is, it was a mistake in a technical sense, that I should have done deeper research and maybe hold on longer and really seen what the market was doing. But at the same time, I was following my risk assessment, and I didn't want to risk the money yet. I don't know what else I have to do to have changed that situation, other than that I was just simply following my process. And I would have to say I'm probably wrong like 7 out of 10 times. I make a bad call, and there's been a couple times where I've lost money to, like on Alibaba. I lost money. I bought it at like 95. It went up to 121. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep it. And this was last year, and it went down to 92. I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna sell it. What I really should have done was just kept buying and buying and buying every time it dipped below what I sold it for, which is what I normally do for most of my stocks that I'm looking to hold long term. But for some reason with that one, I just said, chuck it off into the dumpster. And that was a little bit of a mistake, but it is what it is. All you can do is look back on it, do better research, and try to do a better job the next time around. Well, my next topic I wanted to kind of talk about is that there's always these naysayers about the economic crash. Like, this is doom and gloom, and we're in for something worse than the Great Depression. None of us can really foresee what's going to happen. You can kind of get hints, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So a lot of the market is based off of human emotion, which is just unpredictable. You can't predict what someone else is going to do. It doesn't even matter what religion you believe in. You're a Christian, you believe everyone has free will. So you will never be able to predict what someone else is going to do. It doesn't matter if you're an atheist, you just can't. Like, that probability of you being able to predict someone's actions that you've never met personally is really tough. I mean, as much as people say we can build an algorithm for that, but you can't. You can't build an algorithm for that because you don't know all the information in that person's life. You don't know what made them to drive to become a heavy investor. Maybe they got divorced and said, you know what, I want to change in my life. Or maybe they got frustrated with something and they're just selling everything and they're choosing something else in life. Who knows what the answer to that is? My thing is that you can't. You can't quantify that as part, saying like, okay, I can predict when the market's going to crash, because you really can't. Like, as far as right now, it just seems like people have a high amount of faith and value in the market, and I don't think it's going to go down anytime soon. However, there are signs of where there will be some tough or rough patches. I mean, what goes up must come down eventually. I mean, there's a theory around there back in the day going around with, the 7-year cycle. I mean, it seemed feasible. Like, every 7 years we seem to be going from boom to bust. But now it's 9 years, and 8 years. Going on 8 years, and we're sitting here like, well, where's this 7-year bust cycle? So it's just the same. It's whatever people hold value in, and then sometimes people hold value in things that are false, and like the .com bubble. Like, there were some good companies, but there are a lot of companies that just, the hype was, you're an online company and you're going public, so you must be successful, because look at the other ones that are successful. And it's the same. It was the same way with, humanity has that in the history books all the way back. Ever since we developed the economic system, it's all the way back to that we've had booms and busts. And you can kind of see them coming. You can kind of prepare for it. But you're not going to win the upside unless if you have an omniscient knowledge about something that's going to happen. Like, you've already seen it in the future, or you're coming back in time, or an omniscient being has told you what's going to happen in the future. Like, we don't know. So all you can do is prepare, and like I'm doing, I'm preparing for a slowdown in the economy. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm pulling back out of everything. It just means I'm taking a less riskier position, and then to invest in some more, necessity-based stocks like utilities and Walmart and the dollar store companies, because they usually rise up. They have better sales because They don't have, because people aren't spending $200. They're trying to cut down on everything. So I mean, it's just a matter of what your preference is. As far as do you see the economy grow, most people would say yes. I would say it's kind of a hard thing to see right now, because for me, default rates in subprime lending is going up for not for mortgage but for cars. They went from mortgages to cars. So organizations and banks and financial institutions just started lending to people you wouldn't normally lend money to for a car. And with that said, I can see the auto industry slowly changing too. It's not a rapid change, but it's just a slow change. It's just, I'm starting to see some nice, like, luxury cars used, 20, 30, less than 35,000 miles on them. And they are, where they should be at 40,000 maybe 5 years ago. Now they're at like 28, 30. Shoot, some of the Jaguars, they're down in the teens, in the tens of thousands. You're only looking at maybe 15 to 19,000 for a Jaguar used. I mean, it's 2014, it's 3 years old, but you look back 10 years ago, those used to hold their value, especially if they're sold from a Jaguar dealership. That to me is a sign that, maybe people are buying less, especially of cars, which is a huge economic factor, because there's a lot of money gets pushed out into other industries from cars, such as services, like you have your satellite radio, and a lot of people buy a brand new car, usually sometimes get a new phone and hope it works with it. People selling the car make money, and then they spend the money on their necessities and wants, and then the owners of the dealership, the manufacturer of the car, all of that gets played into it and is constantly going to be upsold and everything. However, my thinking behind it is that I think those slowdowns will be just enough to curb manufacturing, which will curb jobs, as automakers will have to curb their costs to maintain their profit, their earnings per share, and their net profit per share. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to invest in anything auto or anything revolving around auto lending, or even anything just around automotives, unless if they specifically just repair stuff. But I think people are going to be spending a lot more on repairs, instead of saying, you know what, I can just increase my payment by $100 and get this a newer car. Let me just spend $1,000, keep my lower payment, and fix my car. So I wouldn't say I'm part of the naysayers with the economic crash, but I'm not there with them on this fact that it's going to be doom and gloom and the end of the world. Like, it always goes on. It may take a little longer than sometimes, but it will always go on. Especially as long as people have faith in the market, then things will go. And right now we have a good standing on jobs. Like, companies are having a hard time filling jobs, well-paying jobs right now. So that's a good sign for the economy. Just a few bad signs. It's not even really. It's hard to say that they're called bad signs, because the people are just shifting from where they want to go with their money. I think people are now wanting to say, hey, instead of getting that new car, let me keep the car that I got, fix it, and you know what, I always wanted to travel here. Let's travel here. Or maybe it's time to get that fix on the house. Or maybe it's time to start thinking about, moving and relocating for jobs. We gotta save our money, things like that. And I think most people now, wage growth is growing a little bit, and that might be good, even though it's not keeping up with everything. But people are starting to work harder for a little bit better pay. So there's a little bit more productivity, and I think we're going to be fine. The only thing I can think of that's probably going to hurt is if you're in the restaurant companies. So if you're in any restaurant or resort companies, they might suffer a little bit, but all in all, I'd say they'd probably be all right. Just not something that I would invest now and wait till they dip down to the bottom and then invest. Oh man, there's another topic I was going to talk about, just completely in my mind. It was someone that asked a question too. That's a shame. I completely forgot that. Well, since I forgot what I was going to say, I guess we're going to cut this video a little shorter than I thought. I do I'm sorry for a lot of pausing in this too. I'm just driving now. This was just the best time to do it during the day. What I want to say is just make sure you guys just believe in your process. Don't start with another person's process. It takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of hard work of yours to get to where you want to be. And if where you want to be is 8 figures, hey, I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm saying it's just going to take a lot of hard work, and something will have to be sacrificed along the way. If you're single, you might have to sacrifice that being in a relationship. You have a family, you might have to sacrifice spending time with your family. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend time with your family, because that's a completely logical thing to do, is to spend time with your family. I can't imagine anyone saying, you know what, I'll just see my family later, let me just make this money. And I made that mistake, and it's not a good path to go down. It's not a good path. Your family is the most important thing. They're your solid structure. Single or married or in whatever status you are as a relationship, your family is your number one support column. And you have to come to realize that your family may not be there and won't be there your entire life. So you need to enjoy them while you can. Kids, it's an awful thing to say, but you don't know what the future holds. You don't know what's going to happen to your children. So when you get a free time or a free moment, make sure you live it to the fullest with your family. I guess that kind of brings up another point. The number one thing I get asked is, what about penny stocks? How do I get to a millionaire status? I don't have the answer for that. That's you. That's a you internal question. Like, how are you going to get there? Everyone has a different path to take in life, and we all have to sacrifice something, but we're all not going to sacrifice the same thing. So what is it that you feel you can sacrifice? What is it that you want to do? How do you want to do it? Where do you want to do it? When do you want to do it by? And these are all important questions that no one else but you can answer for you. And if you're looking to be one of those, like, yeah, I want to be a billionaire by the time I'm 25. I'm not saying it can't happen, but the odds are you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning 3 times in a row, living, and then go walk into a 7-Eleven and winning a lottery ticket. Not a big one, but just a lottery ticket for any amount you pick. You have a better chance of that happening than to hit that billionaire status very quickly. Like I said, it's not to say that you can't. It's just a lot of there is hard work involved, but there's a lot of luck in being at the right place at the right time with the right idea and meeting the right people. And it's just like, who knows what would have happened to Apple if Steve Jobs didn't say, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to call another person on my list. I called 100 people, I'm out. This isn't working out. No, he said, no, I'm going to keep calling. And I think it was after 1,000 people he called, he got one investor to consider investing into his company. So there's hard work and determination, but it's also a lot of luck, and it's a lot of luck for someone else to see your vision. Need to get a car stand. That's what the next thing I need to get. A little stand for my car. But you do need a lot of luck to just be in the right place at the right time. And I guess what my roundabout way to answer all of those people who are kind of wanting to get wealthy but are stuck in a rut, there's two parts to that answer. One is, what is your determination of wealth? I mean, you can, if you're single and you're making $80,000 a year, you're going to appear to be wealthy to someone who is married with a few kids. I mean, married with 2 or 3 kids, 2 adults and 3 children to feed and support and take care of is a lot of responsibility, and most people end up finding that they need maybe $180,000, $200,000 combined to even remotely say, okay, we're comfortable. But when you're single, $80,000, I mean, really, I mean, you can live off of, I mean, let's just say you lived in a low rent-based area, right? You live in a low rent area. You have a low car payment. I'm going to take that into effect. You have a low car payment, say $250 a month. Let's just say your car insurance is about, let's say on the high side, $200 a month. All right, your utilities, cable, electricity, and water all come up to about $300. Your phone bill is another $80. Your food bill a month, let's say on the high side, $300. Maybe another couple hundred to eat out, and maybe renter's insurance. Let's just throw that in there. You're still probably at yearly expenses under $20,000. So if you make $80,000, it appears like, oh my God, this person's well off. I wonder what they're doing. And that's not necessarily, they're wealthy because their responsibilities and their determinative wealth is a lot lower than someone else. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you have to find out what your determination of wealth is. Somewhere, the sky is the limit. That's where I want my wealth to be. Others is, don't matter what it is. I just want to live comfortably and be able to hunt and fish on the weekends. Whatever it is you wanted to do. And that's kind of a tough call. And the second part is, where do you put your delusions of grandeur? And I would say 99% of people will say, I don't have delusions of grandeur, but 100% of us have delusions of grandeur. We have it every day in our lives in regards to promotions, expectations of relationships, ideologies, religion. All of us have delusions of grandeur that get changed over time. And I'd say with building wealth, delusions of grandeur kind of is one of the biggest inhibitors, and one of the biggest parts to helping you understand where you want your wealth to be at. Because there's a lot of delusions of grandeur about once you hit that status of, okay, I've gotten to the point where I don't have to work, so I'm just gonna go have fun. And you know what? You may hit that at 40. Then all of a sudden, you know, it's not what you thought it was when you're starting, and then it's like you're trying to get to that. I want to be free at 40, and you're realizing at 40 you're still working 20-hour days, and you're like, wait a minute, this is not what I expected of running my own company, which is a good part of the reason why a lot of small businesses close up. Not the fact that they just failed in financially or they didn't hit their customers right, but a lot of them, they do everything right, and they close up, and you're wondering like, what's going on? Why did this business go up? And it might be the owner thought, hey, I can come in whenever I want because I own my own business. And when you get after a year of owning your own business, it's like it's very successful. I'm making $100,000 a year, but I don't know, I'm working every day. I get up early, I come home late, I'm missing family events, I'm missing things. I am even dropping my hobbies for things. And then all of a sudden, you know, working $100,000 a year at IBM starts to seem like, well, that might be a little bit better because at least I get the weekends off and I get benefits, and I don't have to worry about anything other than my performance at my job. So you see where delusions of grandeur affects you. So it's like when you want to become a billionaire, you think like, okay, well, I'm just going to get a yacht, I'm going to get a private plane, I'm going to relax, I'm flying all over the world. And you know what? You may go see some places that you always wanted to see and that you never could have. You may do some things that you never could have that you could once you became significantly wealthy. But to maintain that amount of wealth requires a lot more work, a lot more diligence. You know, people of that stature tend to have more and more meetings about their own financial future and where their assets are going and what they're doing. And you know, common belief is like, you know, once you get that wealth, you don't know what you're investing in, and that's a pretty false nature. You talk to any billionaire, unless if they inherited their wealth, but if they made their wealth, you can guarantee that 100% of them know what's going on and what they're investing in, and can tell you at any given moment where their money is. But with that said, it's coming quite a long video. It's coming to the end of my journey today, so you know, this has come more of a rant than anything else. But with that said, good investing. I know I haven't been posting. I'm posting sporadically, and I do apologize for that. That is my own damn fault, and I will stay focused on that with you guys, because that's the number one important thing about investing is information. And if I'm going to do this, I need to give you guys the information on a regular basis. So I apologize for that. Curse me out in the comments. Also, like and subscribe me so you can follow more, because I'll try to do a morning rant every morning before the market opens. Although I live 2 hours before it opens, so kind of 2 hours behind, but I'm making an effort to wake up and do that for you guys. That said, good luck on investing. You know, make sure you do your research. Don't invest because someone else said you should invest. Do your research. Make sure you understand it. Make sure you understand the risk factor and how you're going to make money off of it, and how the company is going to make you money in regards to your share price and dividends. With that said, respect the process, follow the process, never deviate. Never, ever, 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 ever deviate from how you invest. That said, good luck. I will see you guys tomorrow.